So, you know, hello everybody. We back, episode 9. Um, and we were having some conversation off camera because we were just kind of like going over, kind of like not rehearsing, but we were just warming up to the conversation that we're gonna have, right? And we started getting deep, and so we're like, let's record now because we're dropping which we feel like is some really important concepts, important history that we have experienced, and so we didn't want to just keep it going unless we had the camera rolling. But what we want to discuss, what we want to discuss is A had brought up a um a great idea, like he wanted to talk about the things that um has aged us, the things that has affected us negatively in our life, and how we could have prevented some negativity physically, emotionally, if we had just done certain things differently. So just talk about what has aged us, right? And what happened, or where were you when you came up with that idea? When you came up with that, hey, I want to talk about
Well, first and foremost, I wanted to have this conversation with you specifically and then share it with everyone because I was in my car the other day and I was just like reflecting on because, we're not old, but we're not spring chickens
that.
anymore. But I was just thinking so many things that although you and I are both extremely health conscious, I still have, even when I was younger, let things affect me
Hmm.
that maybe when I was younger, I didn't see how it was affecting me. But as I've gotten older now, I feel like it's aged me. And, I used to just absorb people's problems because I like to help people. But the big problem with that is I'm absorbing all your problems
Right,
and adding on to mine.
right.
So I'm thinking, oh, I just helped that person. I might have helped that person because they dumped on me. But what's going to happen to me now with the stuff that I'm going through?
Right.
Then I'm in the gym. I'm parked by the gym, ready to work out, but yet I'm not ready to work
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
Then I thought
You
about you automatically because not to stop you at all with what you're saying. I thought of you automatically because the time in my life where I was the most defeated, depressed, sad, ready to just. I had someone like yourself to speak to because whatever was going on in here, clearly it wasn't good enough for me to make a sound decision for my life going forward. Not that I couldn't make a decision, no. There was just so much going on and so much stuff that I couldn't get out of. There was no the voice of reason was like turned off.
hmm
Um, but that's what made me come up with that to answer your question because I was just in my car like, there's so many of us out there we are absorbing and taking on things that we shouldn't, and we don't realize
right,
that it's aging us and affecting our health.
right. And what's so funny, right? You having that thought, and I was having like a similar thought, but um in reverse. I was thinking about myself, like the things that I've done now or recently that has caused me to feel um guess like it's aging me now. You know what I mean? Like I was thinking about things that I've done in the past that's aged me. I feel like things that I'm doing now that's causing me not to feel as great as I used to feel. You know, like we kind of was getting into off camera. I remember myself, not too long ago, and for the majority of my life, and even somewhat till now, but I'm not as much as I used to be. I used to be a person, I'm not gonna say stoic, but I was even killed. When great things happen, inside I felt it and I appreciated it, but externally I wasn't reacting a whole lot. When things that aggravated me or angered me, you wouldn't really tell, right? Internally I felt it, but I controlled it. And so externally I didn't react off of like things that angered me or agitated me or upset me. I just remained even kilter. When people saw me, if they saw any change, it would be like, oh, real brief. And to the point where I remember, back in the day, we were in like fifth or sixth grade. We were children, and we loved basketball. You know, um, and to some degree we still do. Um, and we were playing. It was me and another guy that we grew up with, and we're still kind of know him, right? And it was me and him versus like the best basketball players in the school. Me, him, and a few other people, three other people playing full court, and we were playing a really good. Like me and him was holding it down for the team, and it was like 3 seconds left, and we were down by three, and we had the ball went out of bounds. So he was going to inbound mid court, and I was like, so I called a timeout, and I said, let me see if I could hit this half court shot or close to half court. Let's see how likely. So I took within that little 20-second timeout. I took, and this is so funny. Sixth graders playing with all these rules, 20-second timeout. But that's what I was going like. You know, referee and everything, right? So I told our friend, hey, inbound the ball in this timeout real quick, and let me see if I can hit this three from the half court. And I didn't hit it. It was like bang. But I'm like, oh, that's not a bad thing. I could actually get it. So as we kind of rehearsed for 20 seconds, for 10 seconds, is what we did. So he inbound the ball, he get boom, boom, boom. He gave it to me. I got the ball, and from damn near half court, I went in and it went in. And my team was just going crazy, just jumping, screaming. Now he came and jumped on me, and I held him, and he was like, "Dude, you're not happy you hit the three and tied the game for overtime?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm happy." He said, "We don't look it." I'm like, "Well, I am," but my mind also was focused on going into overtime. The game ain't over. I just gave us another opportunity to win.
Right.
So I go back to fifth, sixth grade, to even in my adulthood where um you know, going to college and graduating and getting degrees and getting promotions and getting raises and getting more money and this and that. I had got a like almost a $7,000 raise within like literally a couple of months, like 2, 3 months after getting promoted. I got promoted and then I got a raise of about $7,000 annually. And my supervisor calls me and says, "Yeah, congratulations, you're getting a raise." And I was like, "Great." She goes, "You're not excited?" And I was like, I am excited." She was like, "Well, you don't sound it." I was like, "Well, I am." And that's just kind of how I've always been. But as of the past year, maybe two, I've been like a gorilla. I haven't been breaking stuff and smashing, but I've definitely been like vocal, agitated. And when I'm agitated, I'm letting it be known. And of course, I try to like go ahead and hold it in, but that's not working, you know. And so I said to myself, what has changed inside of me? What has changed inside of me to not have things just roll off my back like it used to? What's happened? Now, in that pondering, I realized what happened, right? I became overly stressed. I have entered a phase of my life where I'm enduring the most stress I've ever endured in my life. I'm working harder than I've ever worked. I have more responsibility than I've ever had. Um, and not just responsibility of myself, but of other people. And so all of these things have come, and I'm just like trying to hold it all up and keep it together, and it's taken a toll on me. And so it
Then
has
you've got
affected how I have been able to remain that kind of like even keeled person. Now instead of these little leaps, I'm like, you know, and I'm really working on getting back to that original organic who I am. And it takes practice, but I'm doing certain things to get there. And but what's amazing is that me and A, we were having a similar process in our minds because I was thinking about how is this all affecting my health? How's it affecting the different organs in my body, like just being so agitated all the time and so feeling like overstressed. How is that affecting my health? And I'm drinking coffee consistently for the first time in my life. And I used to drink it before when I was like, in my early 20s, partying and, having to go to work, and coffee helped me, sustain that lifestyle for a little bit. But now I'm like, I need coffee because I needed to keep me doing the work. Hey, I've never needed it before. Never. I used caffeine for grad school, right? Because I use it sometimes for grad school when I wanted to have fun and then make it to school the next day and be able to focus and accomplish everything. I utilize caffeine to give me that focus and that energy. But I use it as a tool. Now I'm using this joint as like a necessity, and I don't like it. But like I said, I'm doing certain things to help me after processing that. I'm doing certain things. So hey, we were in tune. We're in tune, you know. But we're just looking at it from two different perspectives. Like from your perspective, and then from my perspective. But it was just we're looking at the same object per se
at the same time, but
at
without
the
having
sa-
a conversation.
at the same time without having a conversation about it. And you were sitting in your car at the gym, and I was sitting in my car driving. Either I think it was coming home. Excuse me. I think it was coming home or something like that. From a long day. um. So what we're gonna go into is how can we avoid, right? Like how can we help others avoid the pitfalls that you went into, and in the pitfalls that I am currently, or I have more recently went into, right? Um, and so, hey, what are some things you think can be utilized, or you realize in retrospect that you could have done differently to avoid some of the things that affects your health now, or have affected your health in a negative way, which now affects you today?
Know that you're not you have to respect you have to respect yourself. So you have to respect yourself and um know when you know we spoke about it before. You got to give yourself boundaries.
Right,
Like
right,
one of my one of my favorite motivational speakers, he says it's one thing to carry yourself, but to carry someone else on your back is different.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So we have so much capacity. And when we're younger, we may think, especially, people that likes to help people, that's great, but you come first before anyone else. And anyone to tell you
right.
that's selfish, that is a lie.
I agree.
Because people are quick, a lot of people are quick to say no, but why can't you? Like, no
Right,
is absolutely fine.
right,
know when to say no, and just know when to go, that's a tough situation. Um, I don't really have anything because I feel like I'm probably not the best person to speak on it, and leave it at
Right,
that. And that's okay.
right.
I never used to do that. I would just listen, 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 and then you just got dumped on, and then you still have your own things that you're trying to maneuver to. So
Hmm.
no is perfectly fine. Get very used to saying no.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree because I've known, and what I call people like that, right, who come and they dump on you. What they're doing is they're dumping on you, and at the same time, they're taking from you, right?
Yes.
And those are energy vampires.
There you go. Yep.
And I could spot them a mile away now because of I've had some of those in my life, and I realize after they leave my presence, I'm exhausted. I'm like, why am I tired? I'm not. I wasn't tired 20 minutes ago, but now I'm exhausted. I need to take a nap or something. And I'm like, and I realized every time I interacted with this person for any extended period of time, I was leaving. We were partying where I was tired, and then their mood was different. Like they came somber and this, and then they left like chipper. And I'm like, and I leave in there like, man, I need to go and take a nap when I go home. And I realized these were vampiric people, and I learned to avoid them. I learned to as soon as they start to like, listen, you're gonna have to handle that on your own. And then they go on their merry way. Because what they would do, right? This one specific person, they would come to me, and I started really paying attention. They come to me, and they were asking me about a situation. Then they would go to my mom and ask my mom because they were like a family friend, right? So they go to my mom and ask my mom the same about the same predicament, right? And then they'll go to another friend and ask the same predicament. And my mom said the same thing that I said or something very similar. And then the other friend said something very similar. And you know what the person would do? Whatever the hell they wanted to do. and and I'm like, yo, you just did the opposite of what we all just said. You're not looking for advice. You're looking to draw our energy away from us.
And
And
it's a
so
form
I
of disrespect
and
because they
it
just wasted your time.
yes, yes. So you limit yourself from you limit yourself because then, like you said, it affects you walk away with that feeling of being uh, used up. And then how do you most people just take it and just live with it and then don't understand why they feel the way that they feel you know um so yes, I agree with you. You got to be able to say no. You got to say no to people sometimes, you know um because for me, what I've come to realize with myself, how I can prevent some of these, how could I prevent it? I'm gonna reverse, you know, um, the negative effect is I'm naturally a helper. Like I'm naturally a person likes to like I believe in being an asset to people if I'm in their life, right? So that's like in my career, in business, in my family, right? If I'm close to anybody in proximity, I'm gonna be a benefit. Like I don't want anybody to feel like I'm here being a burden, right? I'm here consuming. I always want to give more than I get, right? And that's just how I've been for a very long time. Um, and what I've come to understand is I can't be like that anymore.
Mm.
Because what happens is some people recognize it and then they take and they take and they take and they take and they take. And some people are not appreciative when they get from people. They just take, and they will never say thank you. They will never reciprocate the giving that they've received. And then what happens is when you now don't give as much, this one day, then they look at you like you've done something wrong. Like you're not giving like you gave yesterday or the 200 days prior. You're not up to my standard anymore. And I'm like, whoa, that so I realized I have to reserve that energy that I have to help and be um, more intelligent with who and how I help people. And so by doing that, um, I'm able to reserve, right, and protect that thing about myself. And also, what you said, I have to. I'm learning to set better boundaries. If I set clear boundaries, and if I let people know you violate this, then we're gonna have to have a discussion. And it doesn't matter who it is. It could be the president of the United States of America. You cross this boundary and violate this boundary, we're gonna have a discussion. And if it continues, we'll have several discussions. And then if it keeps going, then we're gonna have to figure out how this can be resolved. And if it can't, then we will have to part ways.
And that's it.
And so that's how I've learned to kind of get back to that, or work on getting back to that place, because I realize I'm just spent, and being spent makes you spent without any kind of reciprocation, and spent without any appreciation turned me, and I believe it can turn almost anybody, but it definitely turned me into this agitated person, you know. And so I don't want to be the agitated person. And so these are the things that I've realized I need to do, and I've started doing, um, to help me get back to who I really am. Uh, yeah, I think we've come to pretty much a similar conclusion, right? Is to set boundaries, limit how much we give of ourselves and how much we take from others, and that will help resolve the issues that people fall into, because those things, just like how you said it affected your health, it does. Like me being angry all the time, it got stress hormones pouring through my body more often than it's supposed to. And what the stress hormones do? Stress hormones cause weight gain, right? It causes the heart to continuously be, overly pumping, and could potentially go ahead and cause long-term effects like high blood pressure, and you know what I mean? Things like that that could be hard for some to remedy.
I heard something recently. People with faster heartbeats live a shorter lifespan.
It wouldn't. I'm not surprised. It makes sense, right? One of my teachers said to me many, many years ago, um, your heart has X amount of beats. Let's say your heart has 10 trillion beats before it cranks out for boom, right? Like an engine. It has so many revolutions of the pistons before those pistons fall apart, right? Um, or your motor has so many revolutions before that motor cannot no longer move. It's the heart has X amount of beats. Everybody's heart has X amount of beats. So if your heart is beating faster, it's going to use it up faster. It's going to use up the beat limits faster. And so, yes, your time with that heart is going to be utilized much faster, which means that heart is going to conk out. You may have 120 years worth of beats, but if you doubling up them beats every minute, you got 60 years worth of beats.
About Dre.
So it makes right. So it makes sense. It makes sense. What you discovered makes sense. And that's why, some of these ancient teachings talk about meditation and slowing the heart rate and breathing deep breath, and you know weightlifting helps you. Weightlifting helps you control your breath. And you know that by experience, right? When you lifting, you can't just go. You
Unless
will
you want to
pass
hurt yourself.
out. You will hurt
Unless you want to
yourself
hurt
and
yourself.
pass out. You like you have to actually it's like you have to use your breathing with the movement, right? If you do it, if you breathe, it, it's like if you breathe in while you're pushing, yo, I don't know what's gonna happen long term. You're gonna hurt yourself. You have to exhale with the push, right, or the pull of the movement. And if you do it the opposite, something's bad gonna happen.
Yeah.
And so, breath work is real. You know, breath work is real. So, people, that's another one. Hey, you just dropped the bomb on them right now. You dropped the bomb on me. Breath work is another tool utilized to help you, you know, either stay healthy, repair damaged health, and it also helps with the way the mind is going to move. Like people who hyperventilate and panicky, anxiety, right? And sort of anxiety attack. They breathe in like, but if they calm their breath down, they can actually help lower the anxiety, the feelings of anxiety. And
And
so,
that is a
yes,
fact.
bro, yeah. So you just dropped the bomb. Breath work. That's another tool, So I hope these things help everybody. Um, shoot, they're helping me. Helping me. I'm gonna go ahead and practice breath work tonight before I go to sleep. Before I go to sleep, I'm gonna practice some breath work and check my heart rate and see if it's helping to lower it. And also, too, there's herbs that also can help with your heart too. And we're gonna get into that. We've been discussing that for the past 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Like specific herbs that do specific things. And so,
Amazon has been my best friend. I just
yeah,
picked up the
yeah,
package before we started this.
yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? So we're gonna talk about that, and we're gonna utilize how business credit help you to maintain the utilization of the herbs that we've been discussing,
And
right?
wait.
It's saving you time and money, and you know what I mean, because there's things with business credit you can do that you can't do with personal credit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Business credit gets you some things faster, right? I'm like, yo, you order, yo, you spoke about that yesterday. You got that today, So we're gonna discuss that in the near future. We're gonna discuss the herbs that we've been talking about and how it's helping the body and how it's helped us, and along with that, how business credit can be utilized um, with that. But to get business credit, you have to have a business. So we're gonna be talking about business in general. So I hope this helps everybody. Um,
It may be long, but it's worth it.
yes, listen, nothing of value, nothing of real value is gonna be like instantaneous.
Wow.
I wish you had said that. It's gonna be long, but it's worth. I wish you said that like the first 60 seconds, because giving everybody like a understanding of it. It might be over 30 minutes. I don't even know, but nothing worth anything is gonna be instantaneous.
And
You know
if
what
it
I
is
mean?
worth it, please tell me and let us know.
Yeah,
See,
yeah. Because even people who win the lotto, right? It's instant money. They go to the lotto, boom. Most people, I would say 99% of people who win big money in the lotto, they do not appreciate that money. They go and squander it, right? There was a documentary of how fast these people who win the lotto be broke.
you told me. Didn't you tell me somebody won twice and they became broke twice?
He was homeless. He was homeless. It wasn't even a lotto. He was homeless. Someone gave him $1 million. The first thing he did, buy a bunch of vehicles, got a girlfriend. Less than a year, the money was all gone. He's back on the street. Someone else gave him another $1 million. This dude is lucky. If I've ever heard of a lucky person, he's lucky. And he did the same thing again. He was back to being homeless a third time.
You said that second time he was taking like a lot of drugs or something like that, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Well, all times, both times he was doing drugs, but it was drugs, women, cars, staying in hotels, right? Fancy hotels. Never bought a house or a multi-unit property, nothing. Just fancy cars, got a woman, hotels, drugs, squandered it twice. $2 million given to him for free,
Woman
right?
is with somebody.
Yeah.
But
And as soon as the money's gone, she was gone, right? People who win the lotto, like this woman won the lotto, boyfriend is a criminal, and she kept putting up money to get him out of jail, putting up money to get him out of jail, putting up money, wasting her fortune, right? Or they go on these lavish vacations without establishing anything to secure a future for them. And then what happens? Most of them end back up having to go back to work for somebody. You know, let me hit $10 million lotto right now. I'm turning that 10 million into $100 million. I tell you that for real, for real. You know what I mean? Because it's a whole nother story, and we're gonna save
yeah,
that. But we know what we're talking about because we live it. We're not talking about theories and book read concepts. If it is from a book, it's because it's from a book and we applied it, and we know that it worked. So it is a longer one, but nothing good is instantaneous. I don't know any microwavable food that's delicious like for real. I don't know no microwavable anything that don't taste 100 times better if someone makes it for you from scratch. Nothing. I have you let me know if somebody's home cooking something it tastes worse than this microwavable thing. I don't care if it's microwavable pizza. None of that stuff tastes as good as home traditional made. And part of it is, in my opinion, is the energy someone puts into the care and love that they put into the food, the pride. I'm gonna make this taste good. So they put a lot of, you know what I mean? Instant food got no soul. So it tastes like soulless food. But you know, I hope this helps everybody. Uh please comment. I would love to see and read some of your comments and be able to respond. Um I'm not sure if the email is in at the bottom, but if it's not, I'm gonna double check and put it on there. But I know I've really tried to put it on there. So if it's not there, I've got to double check and I'll put it there. And you guys can reach out to us via email also. Um, but yes, like, subscribe. If it's something of value, share it with your friends and family and let us know what you think about it. Right? Anything else, eh?
that's it.
Thanks. All right. Peace.